formation and you is our topic for today. To be moral is to be human. Living the right values humanizes. Living the right values makes us civilized and refines character. But at this point, is there such a thing as right, unchanging, and universal value? Is it a right value for me, also a right value to you? Are the values that Ilocanos consider as right also considered by Tagalogs, Mindanao, or Visayan people as right values? Are the values that we, Filipinos, consider as right also considered by the Chinese, Japanese, Spaniards, or the Americans as right values? There are two varied answers to the questions. Answers should be depending on the place, camp, or culture where you are belong. Some of you might answer yes, and others prefer to say no. And if you are belong to the idealist group, there are unchanging and universal values. And that is the values of love, the care, and concern for our fellow men. These are the values for all people, regardless of time, place, and culture you are into. They remain unchanged, and we call this kind of values as transcendent values. These are the values that never change and remain a value, even if no one values them. They are accepted as value everywhere. Anumang oras, lugar o kultura o lahi, transcendent values remain. On the other hand, the relativists claim that there are no universal and unchanging values. They assert that values are dependent on time and place. The values that our forefathers believed in are not necessarily the right values for the present. For, with the view of relativists, values are changing. What the Swedish consider as values are not necessarily considered values by other race like us Filipinos. But in this lesson, our discussion on values formation is based on principle that there are transcendent values. Most Filipinos, if not all, believe in a transcendental being whom we call by different names. For Ilocanos, Apo Diyos. For Tagalogs, Panginoon o Diyos. For Muslims, Allah. And for other race, God, Lord, and many more. Well, our position to that is both. Regarding with values, Teacher Len, are values caught or taught? Well, our position to that is both. Values are taught and caught. But in this manner, action speaks louder than voice. I'll give you an example for that. A teacher cannot teach being early is better than being late if he or she always comes to class late. Of course, right? Another, how would the teacher teach about respect if he or she does not show it to the students? How would your father teach you that smoking is not good if he himself smokes? Meaning, my dear students, values that we see or observe is what we get. The living examples of good men and women at home, school, and society have far greater influence on our value formation than those well-prepared lectures on values excellently delivered by experts. So class, no matter how high a person's educational degree is or position, please be reminded with the transcendent values called love, care, and concern. This should be in our heart and in our action, especially for us teachers because we are the role model in our community. Like what I have said in our previous discussion, ang pagiging guro ay hindi lamang sa apat na sulok ng paaralan kundi hanggang sa komunidad. So class, please do remember that values are caught and taught. Therefore, to teach the values effectively, this should be taught and caught or observed from us. As what this poem says, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So be careful with what we think, for they become words. And that words might become our actions. And that actions might become habits, and might become our character, and might become our destiny. Now, what about this mean? Values have cognitive, affective, and behavioral dimensions. Values have a cognitive dimension. This means that we must understand the value that we want to acquire. It is a must for us that we know the reason why we have to value such. This is the heart of conversion and values formation. Understand first the logic of hows and whys of accepting or doing such values. Do not follow the values because it is the trend. Follow it because you need it and it makes you a better person or a child of God. Now, how about this? Values are in the affective domain of objectives. This means that it is not enough to know what honesty is or why one should be honest. We need to feel something towards honesty. Damhin natin, i-experience natin kung ano nga ba ang meron sa honesty. Next, value formation includes formation in the cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspects. This means that you need to be open and attentive to your value lessons in schools, church, or fellowships. Like what Aquino said in 1990, you have to grow in knowledge and in wisdom and in your sensitivity and openness to the variety of value experiences in life. Since values are also caught, why not try helping yourself to gain the right values through reading biographies of great or model teachers, successful stories, and other inspirational books? Or why not associate to model individuals or to individuals with good influence? Read inspirational books. Watch inspirational stories. Associate to model individuals. This would help us to be a better person. Dear students, take the sound advice of the Desiderata. It says there, avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are troublesome to the spirit. Another is that value formation is a training of the intellect and will. So how is this? This reminds us to develop our intellect in its three functions, namely formation of ideas, judgment, and reasoning. And it is equally necessary that you develop your will so you will be strong enough to act on the good and avoid the bad that your intellect presents. Now, how can your will be trained to desire strongly the desirable and act on it? William Kelly answered it in a very simple way. He said that to have a strong will means to have control of the will, to be able to direct and despite all contrary impulses. It means that with temptations, with the power of your will, you can surpass such.